I have an arc for you that I read on time, actually pretty early, but it was because it was on the NetGalley TBR from TBR Changer Round 1. And this is the Build-A-Boyfriend Project by Mason Deaver. This was delightfully fun. This is a contemporary romance featuring a trans main character and dealing with a lot of stuff. This book comes out on August 5th, so it's not out yet, but definitely put it in the TBR for when it does come out and grab a copy. If you want a fun, queer, rom-com-esque style story, I recommend this. So we have our main character who is basically doing what I do right now, as an executive assistant for this place that is somewhat similar to like a BuzzFeed area. It's called Vent, and they really want to be a writer and a serious writer, but their boss just keeps shooting them down. And also their ex, who they thought they were like love of their life situation, works there as well, and he's a writer, and he's just kind of stuck at being an executive assistant. So we've got some issues. Now his best friends are like, we gotta move on. We gotta get you back in the dating game and stuff. And so they set him up on a blind date, and it is an absolute disaster. It's everything that can go wrong goes wrong. And he tells his boss about it and ends up getting recruited by his boss to make the Build-A-Boyfriend article. And this is going to be his big test to see if he can actually if he has what it takes to be a journalist. So Eli, who's our main character, I did not mention that before, is recruited to recontact Peter Park, and who is a gay Korean who works in tech, alone in his apartment, has very few social skills, does not know how to date, and is just a walking human disaster when it comes to these things, and has very little confidence. And so Eli recruits him to be like, hey, I will teach you how to date, and you let me write a secret art, or you let me write an article about you. But he's going to try to bamboozle his boss by writing a very serious one about like growing up queer in a very small town and not having the experiences that other queer people have growing up, that you're expected to have by the time you're a certain age and stuff, and that kind of dysphoria kind of situation, I guess. And so they agree to this, and of course feelings begin to develop, and of course, we learn we have terrible bosses who do horrible things, and it has a few of like, you knew the tropes that were going to happen, but I wasn't necessarily mad about it at all. It was just a really, really fun time. I have one real kind of complaint, and that's that we do get this lovely epilogue, and we have this great moment for Peter, but I feel like Eli didn't necessarily get his big moment, and I would have loved, because it's fiction and we can have our happy screw you moments to the old bosses and stuff and the old ex-boyfriend. I really wanted, that feeling of, ha, I got you guys suck. And I wanted a little bit more conclusion with Eli. I guess it's like, growth or whatever, but I'm a petty person. Let me have the petty success, okay? So I did really enjoy this one. Again, it comes out August 5th. Sorry for squeaking. Somebody's chewing on an alpaca. And yeah, so definitely check this one out if that sounds interesting to you. I recommend it if you're looking for a really good rom-com that delves more into some of the social issues and has a really great balance between just being a cutesy rom-com and those issues and dealing with your own like self-reflection and stuff and growth. So good balance there. I recommend.